Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be giving you a very high-level overview of my project proposal for Tender, the web application. We're going to be talking basically about what is Tender, what is the need for Tender, and then furthermore, basically what the roadmap of the project is going to be looking like and who we look to get involved in this project. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is Tender exactly? So Tender is a web application with a business goal to provide a platform for local area hockey goaltenders to track their performance throughout the season while making these performance metrics available to interested team captains. Tender is focused on promoting a non-toxic, friendly, and informed community of hockey players, allowing for more metrics-based growth of players in the goaltending position. Now, exactly how does Tender do that? Well, Tender has basically a 5-stream delivery system. Tender is focused on providing the goaltending community with personalized and valuable KPIs. This is through self-collection and also through the assistance of using our statistical data models. Tender strives to be a non-toxic, bias-free community. Tender supports a powerful team-to-goalie performance feedback loop, something that absolutely does not exist at this point in time. And Tender is intended for all levels of play. I'll be talking a lot about the adult hockey clubs, but this can be used for basically any goaltender and any interested club. Tender blends a positive community and metrics to increase player growth, which again is something that you don't really see at the adult hockey league level. So what exactly is the need for Tender? Where does this desire to build this web application come from? Well, Tender is a critical fix, actually, needed by the hockey community and will function to support goalies and local teams. At this time, there's absolutely no unbiased open communication platforms for goalies and recruiting teams. In most situations, teams are using Facebook pages, which obviously there's a barrier of entry of having to have a Facebook page. Furthermore, these pages are typically not public, so somebody has to add the goalies or the teams to these pages to start communication. It's a very kludgy system that could definitely be executed a lot better. Aggregation and processing of player stats at the club level is something that is just not supported. Shots on goal, goals against, goal for is definitely things that are collected during every game, but is anybody doing anything with these numbers? Absolutely not, and that's where Tender really steps up. Decision-making, recruitment, and training at the club level is not done quantitatively. That, again, goes back to the fact that these numbers are being collected. Hockey is a game of numbers, and nobody is doing anything with these. And, again, that's where really Tender steps up. It's taking these numbers and really making impactful insights. So now we're going to go through some of the critical assumptions of this project. That's going to include discussing what sort of technology is going to be used, the personnel needed to complete this project, and then finally the orchestration tools that are going to be used. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So the technology for this project, the first iteration of Tender development will be a web-deployed application. This application will be fully responsive and consist of Web 2.0 characteristics. In the Web 2.0 world, we're looking specifically at making sure that it is a data-driven application and that it is fully interactive for our users. The web application will be built on top of 2 databases. The first one will be a document DB. This will store and maintain all records for our front end due to the read-write speeds for DocDBs. A data lake will also be floating in the background, collecting all usage information and basically information that's going to be reported to stakeholders. So there are 7 personnel roles that are required for the completion of this project. The first one is going to be the project manager. Obviously, the project manager will be managing all the development activities and oversee the workflow throughout the lifespan of the project. DevOps is going to be in a really interesting role in this project. They'll be responsible for the creation and maintenance of all application objects, including and as well as penetration testing, which will be very critical for this program, and as well as deployment. We also have a UI UX designer who will be responsible for creating the look and feel of Tender, as well as the creation of any icon and font packages. The front-end developer will be responsible for implementing all website designs and expected interactions for the user. Working in parallel will be the back-end developer, which will be responsible for implementing the website hooks and any interactions with system databases. The business intelligence developer will be working to build out all of our data stores as well as data pipelines. They'll be responsible for all of the architecture and schema designs of our data structures. And then most importantly on this team, basically our rock star is going to be our data scientist, who will be responsible for all of the development and implementation of the statistical data models presented on the front end. So this is those digestible, data-driven tools that we're looking to provide our players. That data scientist, that's the person that's going to be creating those. So this is a very important role. We would like familiarity with sports metrics for this role. Familiarity with hockey would also be great, but basically just the understanding of what is important, what will drive a player to take those next steps. So for the orchestration tools, basically how the project is going to be run and what will be used by all team members, Bitbucket is going to be used as the primary repo for all development work and across all domains. Work will be done in domain-specific branches. Merge and push requests to the main branch will be 100% managed by DevOps, as they are going to be managing the deployment schedule. Since we are using Bitbucket, we'll just go ahead and cross over and also use Jira as our project management and task planning tool. This is going to obviously allow for direct integration into Bitbucket, and as we create our stories and sprints, Jira is also going to act as our repo for documentation as we move through this project. So real high level, let's just have a quick chat about what our development schedule looks like. We do have just a few weeks to complete this project. So let's just kind of take a look at this tight schedule. In week 6, we're going to go ahead and start by creating our project initiation documentation. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and add all of our sprint tasks to Jira. We're going to go ahead and kick off the project strong on the 7th with UI UX going ahead and creating our design portfolio. And at which point, DevOps will create all the necessary resources to make those available for our developers. And this is also when data science is going to go ahead and start creating our models, our high impact models. Going to the next week, front-end development will begin as resources become available and the UI UX finishes up. The week after, back-end implementation will begin, once again running in parallel with front-end. The week after that, as we get close to the end of the project, business architecture, business intelligence development will begin. Obviously, they need to wait until front end, back end is nearly done, so this will be a late kickoff, but that's sort of necessary for this development project. Week 11, all the development outstanding to-dos are going to be completed in this week, and then the final week, week 12, documentation of the entire system will be completed, and then penetration testing and deployment by DevOps will be completed in this week as well. So finally, let's just have a quick conversation. Exactly what potential risks does this project have? So the number one biggest risk is obviously the development timeline is incredibly tight, and there is very little room for error in this project. All milestones for this project are finish to start dependent, so there's really very little wiggle room. Another potential risk is the application is going to collect a lot of user information. This will require a very strong security plan to be developed by DevOps, including, strong penetration testing in order to protect our user data. And then finally, at this point in time, it's not really clear what our adaptation rate could be for this application. Obviously, it might seem a little strange that we're going with a web application first instead of a mobile application, and we really don't know how that is going to affect our user base. So I just want to thank everybody today for, giving me some of your time so I could talk to you about this project proposal. It's something I'm very excited about, and I'm really hoping that this can be completed and brought to the community. I think it'll be a wonderful tool. Thanks so much.